Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. My name is Stephen Houston. I'm founder and president of the Heather's Ride program. Really just wanted to, with this time, tell you a little bit about who we are, how we're evolving, how we try to serve the community, and then with some of that evolution, the exciting 2023 and beyond that we're looking at as a program. Heather is my sister. She's the namesake of our program. Heather has Sturge Weber. It's a rare and rather debilitating form of epilepsy. And after she was 21, had her third resected brain surgery. It was the most effective in reducing the number of seizures she was having, but it was also the most physically detrimental, just with some of the post-op complications. So she has some pretty significant spasticity down her left side. Despite that, she used to ride an exercise bike almost 20 miles a day. It's great exercise. It keeps those joints moving, but just due to that spasticity, she can never get on a bike and actually jump on the swamp rabbit and go for a ride, just with those complications. And in 2012, I'm sitting in church one Sunday, daydreaming, talking to God. Nothing against my pastor, not listening to the sermon, but was looking for that next thing in my life, and was convicted sitting there in church that I didn't need another business. I didn't need something from that aspect. I needed to empower my passion around cycling. I needed to give back to the sport that I loved and find a way to give purpose to what my wife will say is an obsession of mountain biking. And so I started researching what adaptive bikes were, what they look like. I found a fantastic partner in Freedom Concepts as a bike manufacturer. And I had no idea how to start a nonprofit, how to develop a program that actually served the community. And with one meeting with Stan Healy at Roger C. Peace, a meeting that was supposed to be all about me learning kind of how to get things started, we had the first tandem trike laid in our lap. And whether I was ready or not, we were off with the program. Our program's color theme is purple. It's Heather's favorite color. It's the color of epilepsy awareness, a disease state that my family knows very well, and a disease state that as a rep, I've been in sales for in medical device and pharmaceuticals for 20 years. So it was purple. Our graphic too has some significance as well. The H for Heather is pedaling. It's in motion. It's active. And that's what we want to do, is to be able to give that opportunity. That big purple dot on the top is the rider, and that's our focus, is getting folks out active and riding. And that lavender dot in the background is us. It's the Heather's Ride program, it's volunteers, it's the community supporting and encouraging and coming behind those with disabilities and getting that opportunity to ride. Our primary mission is just elimination of barriers, creating avenues to give the opportunity for those with special needs, the chance just to get out and ride a bike. And we currently try to do this through 3 different initiatives. Tandem trikes that we try to place on city greenways and trails, off-road hand cycles to get folks out mountain biking on mountain bike trails, and the third initiative, which is new to us, called Pedals Possible, where we are targeting special needs classes in school systems. So the tandem trikes is really how we got started. It's how we began. We try to target a trail, find a partner to help us store the bike, give folks access to it that's on the trail system. And then we seek out an organization to try to get a donation for a complete bike. And that's kind of been our model as we've gotten started. What it's the bike features that really stand out to me and just clicked when I was looking at all the different options. I know we've all heard the joke about if you're not the lead reindeer or you're not the lead dog, the scenery never changes. So often companies, and they're trying to give access, that they're not thinking about the participant. And a lot of adaptive cycling options are carts and extensions put behind the bike of the caregiver or the family member. With Freedom Concepts, their bikes, the kids up front, they're as engaged in the activity as they can be. If they can pedal, they pedal. If they can kind of pedal, but you still need to do the majority of the work, there's a switch on the handlebar for the parent where they can put it in the middle position and they'll do 75% of the work, but the child does 25%. Or if just due to disability or a challenge that right now they can't do the circles to pedal, you can put that switch in the third position. It frees the front pedals up from the drivetrain. So you're pedaling and steering, but the scenery is always changing for the kid. And that's significant. The seat that the child's in, if they're smaller, like a child here in the top, they're in a 4-point harness like a NASCAR driver. If it's a larger participant, there's a chest strap and a lap strap. They're stable, secured in the seat as they're engaged in the activity. The pedals, the little top picture there, they're across the top of the foot, around the heel. The feet are securely attached to the pedals. And if there's a neurological condition that may have the participant to toe drop, there's a guide wire that helps keep those platforms level so that they can fully and functionally engage in pedaling. The cool thing too that Freedom Concepts does, that donating organization, they'll custom paint the bike for the color of that organization. They'll even embroider the logo of the donating organization onto the seat back. So the community can see this is an organization that's trying to give back, give to the community and give access. We can't give everybody a free bike. There are some organizations that's what they do. The tandem trikes they're big, 40 inches wide, 109 inches long, not the easiest thing to transport. And unless you're a family that lives in a quiet, large neighborhood, they're not really accessible for you to use. What we can do though is give families that need it their own adapted seat. And we've done this a couple of times. Families let us know their experience out on the bike, the challenge with their loved one. Picture here on the bottom is Chris. He has cerebral palsy. Exercise is wonderful for them. They can become really spastic when they exert energy, and they need a higher headrest to the seat. We were able to send Chris's family to their mobility company, get a seating assessment done with measurements, send the measurement to Freedom Concept. They custom make the seat for Chris and his family. I can donate a seat to a family, and you can just put it in your trunk. It's easy to access and move around. And when they show up to ride the bike, you simply pull out the standard seat, place your child's seat in, and now the trike is customized for your kid, your family as you're out on the trails. So again, it's a bike manufacturer thing. Freedom Concept understands who they're trying to serve and trying to make it as useful and functional as possible. We currently have bikes. We have a bike here in Greenville. It's in my garage right now for location things. We have one in Spartanburg on the rail trail. We have a bike placed in Goose Creek, just north of Charleston. And most recently, I placed one in Lancaster, South Carolina, on the Springs Close Greenway. And we've taken these bikes everywhere. Epilepsy bikes, even as far away as Richmond, Virginia, where we participated in the Tour to Midnight bike race. That's a multi-category fundraiser for the Epilepsy Foundation of the state of Virginia. It's their largest single fundraising event of the year. We had a young man with epilepsy and his dad lead off as the pace bike for each of the race categories. We were able to help develop and host the first of their kind first ride clinic, partnering with OPATH, which is an Orthotic and Prosthetic Activity Foundation, and Roger C. Peace. OPATH does all different types of first clinics, golf, tennis, swimming, a number of different activities. Greenville, South Carolina was the only city to host first ride clinics. Was able for families to come out and see all the different types of adaptive cycling that are available and get some experience on bikes. We were also showcased in Spartanburg, South Carolina, several years ago with U.S. Cycling's seasonal kickoff race for the Spartanburg Centurion. It's a 2-city block multi-lap race. And in between the pro category and the amateur category, we had 3 families, 3 special needs kids and their parent, make a lap around the race course. To hear all those fans downtown Spartanburg in the sound wave of cheer going around those 2 blocks, we could have shut the whole program down at that point. I would have been full. It was just a fantastic experience. Words can't express that feeling and just the life change for those families. Tandem trike's always going to be a part of who we are. But we also have an off-road hand cycle in our fleet. I'm a mountain biker at heart. This was something I was wanting to do for years, and found a manufacturer through trying out several different types of off-road hand cycles. It's where I first met Chris Sparrow when they were delivering his off-road hand cycle. Settled on a Lasher Sport for just its flexibility, for a wider range of different types of riders. And we take folks out mountain biking with us so they can get dirty, just like everybody else. Mountain biking is a huge activity in the upstate, and adaptive mountain biking is a very rapid growing sport. And this allows us to get folks involved with it. We've had this bike on almost every single trail in DuPont Recreational Forest. It's been in Issaquena, outside of Clemson. Pleasant Ridge, the trail system in northern Greenville County that wraps around Camp Spearhead, if y'all are familiar with that. And Ride Canuga, outside of Hendersonville, which is a downhill mountain bike park. This bike has been on those trails as well. And it's also the neat thing about this hand cycle is it's given the Heather's Ride program a chance to kind of broaden a little bit and to do some other activities. I petitioned the race director of the Palmetto Swamp Fox for several years. And finally, in 2021, we were allowed to have 2 adaptive athletes compete in their 12-hour national qualifier adventure race in the Francis Marion Swamp. And these 2 guys were able to do something for the first time that's never been allowed, and it's been this hand cycle that's given us that opportunity. We hosted the first adaptive trail day at Pleasant Ridge, partnered with another nonprofit to where we could have a broad range of different types of off-road cycles for participants, and we're able to get them out and let them experience the Ridge adaptive. Our county has taken a trail system that they had and have cut in several miles of adaptive trails. They are just like any other mountain bike trail. Fast flow sections, routes, rock technical sections. The only difference in these trails is they're cut a little wider than a standard mountain bike trail to allow the passing of hand cycles. So it's a chance to get out and enjoy a sport that, you know, so many people in the upstate are getting to do. And we were actually able to help sponsor our first racer in the Ride Canoega's first adaptive downhill mountain bike race. In the rain, with all the mud, there were so many adaptive athlete participants. That race was the second largest of its kind in the country. So it's a sport that it's growing really fast. And he's not wearing it today, but Chris placed third in that race. 0.3 of a second away from second place. So he's got some podium movement he needs to do for next year. This initiative as well is a direct beneficiary of the Barbara Stone Foundation. We were awarded a grant this year, and again, it's going to allow us to broaden things out a little bit. It's going to allow us to place this hand cycle full-time at Pleasant Ridge. And the way we're going to do that is through an adaptive trail riding club. It'll be free to join. All of our bikes are free for families and those with disabilities to use. Again, trying to eliminate a barrier. But through the creation of this adaptive trail riding club, we want to give adaptive athletes some basic skills, some basic trail skills, and then train a group of shepherd riders, not just staff at Pleasant Ridge, but friends and families that want to get out with the adaptive athlete and get to ride, to make sure, one, that we're doing it as safe as possible, but two, that we're helping to encourage that return of some independence and that self-reliance, to know this is how I set this bike up so it's the most efficient for me. This is how I fix a flat tire. Skills like that. And again, without the Barbara Stone Foundation, that wouldn't be possible. We're just $2,700 away from acquiring our second hand cycle. We've also submitted for another grant through the Christopher Reeves Foundation, that if that goes through, we'll add a third hand cycle. And our goal is to create Team Heather's Ride adaptive racing team. So as this sport of adaptive downhill mountain biking grows, we're able to help sponsor athletes, get them out, not just getting to ride, but getting to compete in a sport as well, just like anybody else would be able to do. And that's our goal. Again, talked a little bit about our heart's always going to be with the tandem trikes, but the concentration of special needs kids are in schools. We placed a tandem trike in Lancaster, South Carolina, and at the bike unveiling, MUSC had their board there. And one of the gentlemen that was in charge of taking photos, as we had special needs kids and a parent riding down the trail for the first time on the bike, he's taking photos, and the first young man is squealing with a giant smile on his face. So convicted, this board member, that he called me. Said, I want to put that kind of smile on the face of every kid in America. How do we do this? Well, it's funny. Cynthia Dodds at MUSC that donated the bike actually wrote a commentary on a real small study done by the University of Michigan. And there were 3 students that they evaluated the improvements in doing adaptive cycling at school as an activity. His connection as being on the board of MUSC, we pulled Dr. Dodds in, and we've created a new initiative called Pedals Possible. Through a very generous research grant from MUSC, we are conducting a research project through the 22-23 school year. The Rotary Club in Lancaster has fundraised and donated 14 bikes. There's a bike in every pre-K, elementary, and middle school in Lancaster. And we're going to be measuring gross motor function, the ability to self-ambulate, to self-weight bear, attention, sleep, diet, all those different aspects And our goal is to take all of that data at the end of the school year. And through Rotary International as the fuel to help fundraise, we want to try to place an adapted bike into every special needs class, school that has that across America. And this is our premier initiative for 2023. So locally, because I'm a Greenville resident, I've met with the Assistant Superintendent of Special Ed with Greenville County and spoken with them. I would love for my home county to be in front of this initiative instead of following behind it. And after first of the year, hope to have a presentation and meet with Charleston school districts. Their home hospital system is conducting the research to try to help the South Carolina school districts help us figure out kind of best practice. How's the best how do we roll this out when we start going multiple states, multiple school districts, multiple cities, to make sure that we're as effective as possible in rolling this out and meeting that need, and ultimately focusing on what people can do, not what they can't, and having teachers, physical therapists, and even families realize just how underestimating we are with the goals that we're setting for kids with disabilities. And again, helping try to change lives and impact as much as we can. I think there's, well, before I do that, I added this last night. This is a little test, our first attempt at what we're going to try to do to showcase this, to motivate Rotary clubs and other community organizations that will be donating these bikes for school systems. So I'll share this with you.
Sunshine on you? So that will. You hear your mom? She's over there watching you ride. She's watching you ride this bicycle. She hears you and she sees you. Mommy! What? I'm having a bike.
Three things that I think make the Heather's Ride program unique. Our primary focus, again, is that the goal is to focus on what people can do, not constantly letting them be told what they can't. Disabled individuals, families already make so many different quality of life sacrifices. We also try to eliminate all those barriers and provide as much open access as possible. We've been a part of clinics and scheduled events, and those are great, but everyone else that enjoys cycling, when their schedule allows, they get to go out and ride. We try to do the same thing with Hetaher. We try to have open access. We try, as long as trail conditions and weather will allow, we want people to be able to get out and ride when the schedule is not, no, I guess in 6 weeks there's this event coming. So that open access, I think, is important. And then third, no one on our board, no member, no one takes any income from the Hetaher's Ride program. It's every dollar donated goes right into the program for bikes, for adaptive seats, for events. We don't even have really any administrative costs other than annual renewal of our web address and South Carolina Secretary of State certification so that we can fundraise. That's really it. And even though this Federal's Possible is definitely going to change us as we expand out, our goal and our core is going to stay. That the people serving the people, they're part of the program, are doing it out of love of the sport and out of giving back to others. With all these things we've done, it hasn't been us. There have been so many organizations, so many people, so many things that have happened that have helped make us be successful. And I definitely want to throw some shout outs to some of those. First is Roger C. Peace. We are really blessed to be in Greenville with a rehab hospital at Roger C. Peace. They get it, and they are committed to trying to create as many activities and options as possible. And they donated our first bike. Been with us through that we've done in part, and they've even paid a physical therapist to go with Chris and I up to Liquid Logics in Fletcher, North Carolina, a kayak manufacturer that let us take seats out of a perfectly good brand new kayak, and with a physical therapist who's trained in cutting foam to make a custom seat so that Chris could compete in that adventure race. It's just things like that couldn't happen if we didn't have an organization and a rehab hospital that committed to serving the community beyond recovery from injuries and disabilities. So that's huge. As my mountain bike group will call them, the two Chris's. I need willing victims, volunteers, as I dream up crazy things for that hand cycle to do. And it takes people that are willing to be the pioneers and go try things first. Years from now, when other adaptive athletes are able to compete in downhill mountain bike races, multi-hour adventure races, they're never going to know the name of Chris Sparrow and Chris Raines, but they did it first to give life change and opportunities for others. And it can't be overlooked, the chances and risks those guys take. The Barbara Stone Foundation. This was our first grant award. And it just gives us as a program the ability to broaden and stretch out and to do so much more than we've been able to do. And that's significant to us as a little nonprofit. MUSC, multiple bike donations, research dollars, a research coordinator and 2 grad students to help pull off an initiative that myself and a guy in Lancaster, South Carolina dreamed up, making it happen. That's significant. And my gnarly crew of mountain bike buds, 14 bikes placed in a school system to do a research project. They donated 14 bike computers in an hour. Just guys that love the sport giving back. And things couldn't happen without people like that. We want to change the world. The Heather's Right program wants to change the world through cycling as an activity. But there are a lot of other activities that still need access and barriers eliminated from. I was speaking to one of the head physical therapists at Roger C. Peace, and she was telling me a story about a young lady. She's just moved to Greenville, and she is all in with the wheelchair basketball. And so she was telling her, you are so good at this. What else do you like to do? And the young lady told her, well, this is the only thing that I've been given the opportunity to try. When I speak to civic groups and organizations and I'm fundraising, there's this central theme that I have about empowering your passion first. That's how you become truly successful. And we need to get out in front of so many other organizations and groups, hobbyists, fishing groups, garden clubs, woodworkers, radio controlled hobbyists, and enthusiasts, and motivate them to give back to their hobby and find ways to do it that give access to that hobby that they love so much to folks that otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to be able to participate. So thank you. Thank you for all the organizations that have partnered with us. Thank you to the Barbara Stone Foundation for the grant and the opportunities it's given us. Greenville CAN Talks for the chance to come in and share with you, who the Heather's Right program is. All our volunteers, all of you for giving me the time and listening, and even the folks that are listening virtual. And I'm going to be here afterwards, answer questions or brainstorm, whatever you would like. Thank you so much.